of tank blitzers and future mumrads. I'm Littlefinger, here today to share a little bit more knowledge with you. This time I am reviewing the Renault Otsu, which is a Japanese Tier 1 light tank. This is a super slow tank with very good armor and an average gun. Let's take a look. The turret that it comes with provides you with 18 millimeters of armor. You will want to quickly upgrade that to the Tier 2 turret, providing you with a 10% increase there to 20 millimeters. Now, it has two options here once you get past the Tier 2 turret for gun. The 13 millimeter autocannon, which carries 15 shells in the magazine, which is really nice. But the problem I found is that your AP round is only 23 millimeters and does about 8 hit points of damage and has a 0.5 dispersion. Aim time is average there. So I preferred the 37 millimeter gun, which has a very high rate of fire at 15.7 and still only has the 33 millimeters of penetration with the AP, and then it has the Pramo AP, which does give you 59 millimeters of penetration. They both do the same amount of damage. The dispersion there is better at 0.46, and I just found that this tank worked better with this gun. So now let's take a quick look at how I have it set up. Repair kits, multi-purpose restoration pack, and adrenaline. Provisions, I am running standard fuel, white rice, and protective kit. Ammunition, I have 80 rounds of your AP and 30 rounds of Pramo. You will need this Pramo, and you won't make much money playing this tank. And I'll show you that in the gameplay videos. But anyway, I have the enhanced gun lane drive, the vents, and I did go with the coated optics. Not sure any of these three really would have made much of a difference with this tank. Let's see how this tank compares to the rest of the Tier 1 tanks. Okay, our famous spreadsheet here. A lot of red on the board for the Renault Otsu. You can see there it is the lowest in hit points at 125, but it stands out with its hull and turret armor, both well above average. Weight is average, engine is small, and the speed is the slowest in the class. That includes traverse and turret rotation. This is a very slow tank. Also, the shell penetration isn't very good. And you do need to use a lot of APCR for this tank, which makes it kind of costly, and you'll see that in my gameplay videos. Average damage there, 40 is below average. Rate of fire is good, and because it's above 3 of the other tanks there, so the T1 just kind of blows that average out of the water. But dispersion's good. So overall, a lot of red, but this is a well-protected tank that'll keep you on the battlefield for longer than most other tanks. Now for the fun stuff, gameplay. Here we are on Fort Despair. This is a full Tier 1 game. I'm gonna head right. This is sped up 2 times, so you can see here we are going at a masterly fast speed of 24 kilometers per hour. I'm going to push the corner and use the hard cover here to my advantage. And as we start pulling up, we notice that several tanks have been spotted here in the valley. And here, look, here's another Renault Otsu. Take a note at how much red is showing up on this tank. So I switch over to APCR, and it makes a huge difference. You can see here, AP red, APCR, I can penetrate a little bit easier. So I am pulling out unloading the magazine, dropping back, and shooting again. So we've got that difficult tank out of the way. I can switch back to AP. Gonna take a few shots on that T1 and take a note. This is one of the few times here that I can talk about angling. The way I've got my tank angled, I've got the gun over the corner front of the tank so that any shot that comes in on my side has to penetrate a much thicker length of armor, basically what's called effective armor, and I'm much more likely to get a ricochet that way. So I'm going to push along. Note how I'm trying to stay behind the hard objects as long as possible. That T1 spots me and he jumps down, and I managed to get him before he runs away there. And then I come around the corner and find this tank, and you see he is shooting at me but not penetrating, and that's partly because of the angle that I'm presenting to him. Now in contrast, he's giving me the side of his tank, so we're going to award him the Going Broadside achievement. Congratulations, you've earned it. So he's shooting back at me, but all he can do is damage my tracks. So keep in mind here the importance of angling. It shows up really for the first time in this tank. Most of the other tier 1s armors are so weak it really doesn't matter at what angle you present yourself. So I've been trying to talk about staying behind hard cover. Not doing a great job of it here myself, but good enough. So quite quickly there, we're up to 4 kills. My suspicion is that the other guy here is AFK at spawn, so moving right along here, 23 kilometers an hour. And again, it's another Renault Otsu. Look at that red. So I'll switch to APCR, get some shots in, and as I'm reloading, I'm getting closer, which gives me a bigger target, less likely to miss with my shots. Reload, wait a second for it to aim, and then take my shots. And now I just need one shell to penetrate, so I'm going to switch to AP and try to get to the side and just go ahead and finish him off. So this was a 5-kill game. I think we had 3 on our team with 0. I think they did too, however. But you can see here that it was a mastery, but yet I still lost 8,000 credits and did 700 damage. Okay, this game we are on mines. This is a full tier 1 game. I am going to push up the hill towards the mine area. Keep in mind again, this is sped up. We are actually only doing 20 kilometers per hour. I've got full support from my team behind me, which is good. Looks like we've got one. He's just started to move from spawn. Crest over this hill here and get some shots in and keep pushing up because it provides me a little bit better cover up here, and then I'll work on getting into a good angle against these tanks. You can see here there's red showing up on their tanks, which means that I'm unable to penetrate or have a lower chance of penetrating those areas. This is really, as I said before, the first time this shows up at tier 1. So I switched over to APCR to make sure that I could finish that tank off, And then I'm just going to push up here and get myself into a good shot. And again, I need APCR and finish him off, even though he thought that he was hiding behind that rock. One of the things to do if you're in that situation is to wiggle going back and forth to make it more difficult for me to hit the spot that I'm aiming for. So because I was the first up the hill and I pushed over, I was able to take those 3 first kills. Looks like everyone else on their team has flanked around one way or the other, which is a really bad strategy on this map. And so I come back down the hill, and there with the Renault Otsu, you can see the red again. So I switch to APCR. Good bit of red. You can see where the tank is angled. That effective armor is much bigger than the actual armor. So always trying to keep my tank angled, not like this guy here who's showing up broadside to me. I've already given out that award, so so now I'm going to switch to APCR because I've got myself into a situation where I've got a tank on the left and a tank on the right. And I just don't want to, I want to make sure that I'm not hit from both sides. So go ahead and finish that guy off, and here we've sped it up. Trying to catch up to this guy, but it's, you're not catching anybody in this tank. Let's just put it that way. So we end up capping the base and winning the game that way as the last guy goes scurrying off to safety. So again, level 1 mastery badge, but lost credits. So another game here on mines. Again, this is all a tier 1 game. I'm gonna employ the same strategy of pushing the hill. You can see here how much slower this tank is than the others that have gotten out in front of me. So I'm going to peek around the rock here and focus on the tank that has already taken some damage. Again, focus fire is critical in this game, getting cannons out. We are going to triple team on the medium one here and take him out. And I want you to notice here this Renault Otsu, the red one to my left. I'm keeping that rock in between the two of us. I'm not too worried about him right now. I'd rather focus on the other tanks. I don't need to get myself into a situation where I can be shot by multiple tanks. So as long as I've got shots on the other enemies, I'm fine just leaving him there. I don't necessarily need to turn my turret to see him. I can look at the mini-map and see that he is sitting squarely there on the edge of the white circle. So I'm going to keep focusing on these tanks that my team's working on. Showing a little red there, so I switched to APCR just to make sure I got the kill. And then the Renault Otsu comes up on me and shoots me in the track. So I'm going to switch to APCR because I know how difficult to penetrate that tank is. And we've got 2 tanks left waiting on the reload, and he's taken out by a teammate. So not sure where the last guy is, so I'm just going to back it up into the circle and see if my team can spot them, which they do, because there's no point me trying to chase somebody down this map. So I'm going to speed it up here as he's been spotted, and just going to wait to get a good aim on this guy and then shoot him. I think he's going to drop off, and so I move forward, but as you can see, those shots are just ricocheting off me, and finish him off with the 3rd kill. So a really good tank, learn to use its angles to make that effective armor. If you like driving this tank, I suggest that you pursue a heavy tank line or maybe even a TD tank line. You can get more information about what tank's right for you by watching my Which One to Play video series. I do that based upon each nation. So stay safe out there. Have fun. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.